Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the south side on the banks of the Monongahela River. Highmark Stadium is the site for a marquee matchup in the USL's Eastern Conference on this Friday evening. The unbeaten Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC at 4-0-3 host Indy 11, unbeaten on the road. I am Matt Geico, along with Paul Child, and for the first time this season, Gene Klein is alongside. Both these teams firing on, well, most if not all cylinders in the early portions of this season. For the visitors coming in, the Indy 11, a landmark victory last week against the defending champions Louisville City FC at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. And Gene, it was won on a penalty kick in the 78th minute from Ayoze, the Spanish foreign defender.
Yeah, and you could see it's an obvious PK, Matt, where he stuck out his hand and misdirected that ball, and they convert quite easily on the PK. Well-taken PK to put Indy in the lead.
There you see the only second-half goal scored by Indy 11, so perhaps still some goals left in the holster for Indianapolis.
Yeah,
now,
but a lot of chances for Louisville, and you can see on this one here, good save by their keeper, Fawn Williams. They were serving a lot in, but a very experienced back line and a very experienced team with a lot of MLS experience, and I think that you're going to be a very difficult team to break down.
Four clean sheets on the year, second in the USL. The Riverhounds are the only team that has more, in fact, than Indy 11. And as for those Hounds, it wasn't a clean sheet last week in Rochester, Paul Child, but it was a 2-1 victory in Bob Lilly's old stomping grounds. The Hounds just keep it rolling.
Yeah, this is great for Kevin Kerr to get on the board finally, and complimenting each other, Nico Britt and him both scoring, and it's good to see them on the road and doing really well. They're really connecting right now and becoming a really good team. So this should be a real good matchup tonight between the Hounds.
The Hounds were dominant in possession last week. So was Indy against Louisville. So both teams should be in fine form for this one. Right at the top of the standings, these two teams are battling. We're looking forward to bringing it to you here from Western Pennsylvania on ESPN Plus tonight. Stay with us.
A lot of clients ask us what makes us different. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Joyce's signature collection. We truly are jewelers. We're passionate about jewelry. We understand the process of making jewelry and what it takes to make the highest quality product at the best value. We travel the world to bring back and create the most unique diamond jewelry collection that you will find anywhere. If you've never shopped Joyce's, I personally invite you to visit our store. I know you're gonna love it.
At Joyce's Jewelry.
I just want to make sure that I just do everything I can to just protect him and love him and just, you know, just be the best mom I can be.
Yeah. And with your first, you want to know the doctor because you want to be comfortable with them.
Yeah. I don't want to feel like I'm at a baby factory.
Be like this.
The region's fastest growing labor and delivery program is at Allegheny Health Network.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
It's so unfair. You just feel stripped of being a woman, not being able to have a child. Or they had told me that I can't have kids naturally. It was just like waterworks.
Yeah, what's it like being pregnant?
But it's an amazing thing to know that I don't have all of the things to make a baby, but I still made this baby.
I mean, it really is a miracle.
Seriously.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with a fertility expert at Allegheny Health Network.
Back at Highmark Stadium, we're looking forward to this one. I'm Matt Geico with Gene Klein and Paul Child. The presentation of the game ball at the center of the pitch here at Highmark Stadium on the banks of the Monongahela River. The Riverhounds, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, the only unbeaten team left in USL at 4-0-3, taking on the unbeaten on the road, Indy 11.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we're talking.
The referee tonight, the man in charge, Eric Tattersall. and his assistants Paul DeVerse and James Dooling. The Riverhounds wearing their white contrast kits for the first time this year. Indy coming out in the blue. And the Indy 11 in its first season in the USL, making its first visit ever to Pittsburgh. 3 matches on the season between these two teams coming up. One more here in Pittsburgh, one more in Indianapolis. There you see the Steel Army. Again, welcome to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it's a beautiful Friday evening, our first Friday match of the year as the two teams get set to go. Starting lineups for the two squads. Indy 11, the visitors, we'll look at them first. Jack McInerney is the striker, the one to watch with all the MLS experience. And Owain Fawn-Williams, the Welshman, the keeper in the back, has 4 clean sheets. Ayoze, the defender from Spain, 2 goals last week, both from the penalty spot. That's your 11 as laid out by the coach, Martin Rennie, the Scotsman. As for the New Jersey native, Bob Lilly, here's his starting 11. Kyle Morton gets his 3rd start, the rookie keeper out of Pennsylvania, Westchester, out near Philadelphia. He'll have a 5-man back line with Thomas Vankiazil, the rookie, in the middle. Pratzner, Lee, Dover, and Adewale will help him out there. In the midfield, Forbes and Kerr. Cristiano Francois and Nico Brett will be the 2 men trying to stimulate the attack from the front. And Bob Lilly has been very flexible with his formations in the early going, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's really been changing it around, actually, from the first couple of games of the season. He's really gone kind of offensive-minded, and obviously that shows in the scores, but that's what he's been trying to do, is get some more offense, generate some more offense.
As I was saying before, not sure if you heard back at home, but the Hounds in the white tonight against the boys in blue, as they call them in Indianapolis, the Indy 11. And there are some members of the Indy fan group, the Brickyard Battalion over there right in front of the Monongahela River on the right side of your screen. You'll see them once the ball swings that way. Indy playing a 4-4-2. They use the width of the field very well in their match against Louisville City, a 1-0 victory at home that has put them within a couple of points of the Hounds. And here's the first handle on the ball for Owain Fawn-Williams, 31-year-old from Wales. As the Indy 11 try to work it out of the back, the Riverhounds can move into first place in the Eastern Conference with a victory tonight, and Indy can move into second. So plenty at stake, and 2 teams playing well.
Yeah, and I think 2 teams also, Matt, that realize that this is a very important match at this stage of the season. I'm sure both of them will look at the schedule, and the Riverhounds from their end, they've played Cincinnati, but they also know they need some points against some of the teams in the top half of the table, and I'm sure they're excited and looking forward to this match. And for Indianapolis, a team coming here from the NASL, which is the rival league a year ago. We're glad to have them in the USL, and they're an experienced group, and they also know this is a statement game for them.
There you see on the screen, home goal differential. The Hounds have dominated here at Highmark Stadium. 6 goals for, 0 against. On the flip side, no goals allowed for Indy on the road. So you'd imagine something would give here tonight. Doesn't have to necessarily, of course, but 2 teams that are in comfortable environments, if you want to put it that way, in the early going too.
Yeah, nobody wants to make any mistakes, Matt. I think they're all they're tense at the moment, and it's the first couple of minutes of the game. So obviously balls going back and forth, losing possession, winning possession, and Indy got possession right now and trying to put some pressure on the Hounds defense.
That was Brad Ring at first handling. Now coming out as Morton at the edge of the area to gobble it up. Brad Ring made his 100th appearance for Indy 11, combined NASL and now USL. 31-year-old from Illinois, wearing the captain's armband, and he's on the near side as he goes up for this ball against Nico Brett, the Jamaican striker who leads the Eastern Conference with 5 goals. So we'll watch that duel if it plays out over the course of the next 90 minutes or so.
Strange to see them in this white color.
Yeah, the Hounds have worn the Bumblebee outfits, if you will, the first 7 matches, the black and gold.
Yeah, and kind of trying to get used to it really quickly.
Suni Saad Lebanese-American couldn't make anything happen on the far wing of the field. And the Riverhounds can try to put some possession together. Ray Lee up the center, off of a foot, and right into the belly there of Carl Ouimet, who flags it down. Right back in on the Hounds' goal, and Morton sprinting out to snatch it away from Nathan Lewis, who was right there in his face. Drilled up the center of the pitch again. Here's a flick-on header by Brett. Offside, though, is the call from the assistant referee on the far side. Last week, Indy 11 had 53% possession against Louisville. It was a deserved victory. The Hounds were up near 70%, their best possession match of the year against the young Toronto FC 2 squad that they have now faced twice and beaten twice.
I think we're not going to see any possession like that this game, though. So. As we see in the opening minutes, both teams are very compact, very tight. Of course, two of the most experienced coaches in the league, and Bob Lilly and Martin Rennie. Martin has been in the USL before, from back in the days in the Cleveland City Stars, Paul, when we used to go up against him. So he has an enormous amount of experience, and you can see they're leaving a little room between the lines and keeping it very, very tight and very compact.
Flagging it down, McInerney. Speaking of big-time experience, he's played several seasons in the MLS, but he's offside here. McInerney, 132 appearances in MLS, 42 goals. He was on the United States' 2013 Gold Cup roster for Jurgen Klinsmann as well.
Yeah, and he's been with the national teams program all the way up through as a youth player too, Matt. So he has a lot of experience in the international level, and as you said, NOS had couple pretty good seasons with the Philadelphia Union. So he'll be a guy that I'm sure the Riverhounds will have to keep a close watch on.
And the number's unique, of course, 99 for McInerney, the 25-year-old. Tied for the team lead with 2 goals, along with Ayoze, the 2 from the spot last week. Philadelphia, Montreal, Columbus, Portland, Los Angeles Galaxy last year. So that's the MLS rap sheet for McInerney. He's been a lot of places and still just 25. So he got an early start to his pro career.
Yeah, he did, and I believe he signed right from the youth ranks into the pros. Didn't go the college route, and so he has had a few routes.
Yeah, that's a nice ball there to Francois, I think. And
Francois has been aggressive in the early going in this season. Put it into the box, and nearly handled by Zach Steinberger, but he clears.
Pretty close, but
Ben Zemansky over there now. Speaking of MLS experience, Zemansky has plenty of it. Right there at the corner flag, and he did not win the corner kick, much to his chagrin.
I think he was trying to do that, actually, and try and come away with the corner kick because there was nowhere for him to go, but did well to get the throw in. Both teams really giving nothing away here and really high pressuring each other and making players just cough up the ball as soon as possible.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Paul, it's very, very tight, very compact. Both teams very difficult to hold on or open anything up. They're going to have to move it pretty quick and really try to open the game a little bit by using some width to find any channels at all.
SUNY Sod stripped Ben Zemansky over on the far side. Sod also has 2 goals, I should mention, so 3 with 2 on this Indy squad. And the other one that they've scored this year is by a former Hound, Tyler Pasher, the wingback who is out this week with a neck injury. He's been dynamic for Indy and talking to some of their people who cover them in the media scene out in Indy, but we won't see the reunion with Pasher, the Canadian, as this is out into touch for a Hounds throw.
Yeah, we remember Pasher quite well, flying up and down the flank, and as a young rookie, and certainly always displayed an enormous amount of potential. I'm really curious, Paul, how things are going to work. It looks pretty much almost a 3-5-2 with Zemansky and Canardo Forbes, both who are traditional holding midfielders, number 6, both playing in front of that 3, with Ray Lee and Dover getting up and down to provide some balance in the back. So we'll see 2 central midfielders kind of holding the center of the field and really seeing what they can do to distribute and connect with Francois and Nico Brett up top.
Here's a good opportunity for Indy, sending up their tall players into the box. Everybody trying to pick up man to man.
Set pieces have not been an issue for the Riverhounds defending them this year. It has been a trouble spot in the past, but not under Bob Lilly. They've had him locked down. Here's an opportunity, though, for Indy to strike first. Kevin Kerr rises up to head that ball clear. Forbes running over, trying to get a piece of it. He can't. This is Justin Braun, 31-year-old. Braun getting just his second start of the year, and it's off of a Riverhound, off of Ray Lee, and out over the byline for a corner kick, first of the match for either side. This will go to the Indy 11, visiting here tonight for the first time.
Yeah, I'm sure these teams are really looking for any of these set plays, Gino, and Matt to capitalize on.
Quick corner, pardon me there, Paul, as it was pushed in. Braun actually, or pardon, not Braun, but Iose dragged it out of the corner by himself, I thought. I didn't see a teammate tap it to him. And I believe that's why the whistle here.
They're going to give it to him again, I think, Matt.
They're going to redo it.
Yeah,
and
referee's
Riverhounds
coming over to talk to the AR and ask what he saw there. And
the Hounds are saying it should be their ball. It should be a goal kick.
Yeah, Kevin Kerr and I think that's Ben Zemansky were both over there pleading their case, but it's going to looks like it's going to stick with.
No, they will give it to the Hounds. Upon further review, the man in charge, Eric Tattersall, says yes, that was a violation, and it'll be a spot kick for Pittsburgh over near the corner, which Kyle Morton will handle. Three-time All-Colonial Athletic Association keeper out of James Madison. Gets his third crack at things for the Hounds this year. And we'll watch this again. Yeah, he just takes it right out of the corner. That not allowed.
Definitely, yes.
You can't pass it to yourself on the corner kick.
You can't pass yourself on the corner.
That's what I thought I saw too, but then I started to doubt myself when Iose tried to sell it. Well, a decent sales job by the veteran Spaniard.
I thought they brought a new rule into into the game again.
Yeah, I think he was trying to run a short corner, but the other guy wasn't there for the short corner, so he said, I'll just take it myself.
It was an extremely short corner, right to his own foot. At any rate, the Riverhounds avoid having to defend that corner kick, so they'll take that. Zemansky can't track this one down. It's out for a throw for Indy.
Yeah, so far Ben's made a couple runs down that right flank from the central midfield spot. You know, I would think maybe Jordan Dover will be pushing more into that spot, but Zemansky's made a few of those runs, and so we'll see if that continues throughout the game.
Yeah, we were talking, Matt.
Because they have Pratzer out on the right side, Paul, and they're pushing Dover out, but Zemansky's pushed into that little space.
We were talking about Dover, Matt and I, in the early games, and where he wasn't really pushing forward, you know, and he started connecting a little bit more with the wide players and making combinations, but kind of hesitant to go sometimes when there's open space.
Yeah, and you can see when the Hounds get down into their defensive third, it's almost a five-man back line.
Yeah.
So, but I am sure once they regain possession, Bob Lilly wants those guys really pushing and providing some width in the attack, and it will be Ray Lee and Jordan Dover.
Sure.
Those wingbacks have driven things for the Riverhounds this year. It's been a key part of it in connecting with whether it be the attacking midfielders, or in the case of Brett, the man up top. Iose trying to pull it to himself. Cannot. Hounds clear, but right back into possession of Indy on that back line. There's Carl Ouimet, the former New York Red Bulls 2 player. Serves it into the penalty area, and the flag is up on the near wing. And of course, Carl Ouimet was part of that controversial situation with Romeo Parks of the Riverhounds 2 years ago. Got Parks suspended for a year by FIFA. Parks kicking Ouimet. There was some sort of an argument with the two of them beforehand. Yes. That was almost 2 years ago to the day, in fact.
Oh, yeah. Remember that one?
We remember
all too well.
Yes, I was wondering if Parks was going to get the start. We might see those two renew acquaintances. Parks is on the bench. He's active, just not out here at the moment. And Ouimet has played in MLS, as Gene told you earlier. Very experienced player. Tops on the team in tackles and interceptions. He's going to be a tough nut to crack there.
And I believe that's when he was with the Red Bulls too. Is that correct?
It was, yes.
Whoa.
Here comes Morton way out. He's going to have some trouble getting back if his teammates don't help him, and they do. So Forbes heads it forward.
Boy, he was really lucky there that he got
we
there.
pulled our lineup pretty high there at that particular point with that a lot of pressure on the ball, and Morton did well to quickly off his line to stay connected with his back three.
Francois, quick throw after Ray Lee banged it to the opposite corner, and so the Riverhounds have something going now. Dover takes the throw this time. Kevin Kerr will take this at his foot. turning to drive it again off of an Indy foot, and again a quick restart for the Riverhounds.
That was
just saw that
lucky.
replay.
Yeah, he was lucky that he got it to a Riverhound player, because if that had gone to an Indy player, he would have been back over his head, and then it would, who knows what could have happened.
We haven't seen that much from Hounds keepers. I don't want to say they've had a leisurely time of it, but they haven't been tested that much. They haven't had to really press the issue. That time Morton felt it appropriate, 24-year-old.
Yeah, he came out well there and showed his heading technique to to clear that one, but
that's rare in and of itself.
It was quick.
We don't need to see that again, though.
Yeah, that was. That's
Prasner
why he's in the goal pole. He's not up front.
Francois drags it through the center ring. Dispossessed. Play continues on. Brad Ring right up the gut with it and into the breadbasket of Morton.
Yeah, and again, what we said earlier, I think with the same thing with Indy. Both back lines are so well organized that they're no one to drop. There's not a lot of space in behind.
No,
so it's going to be very difficult for both teams to break them down. And we know from Martin Rennie and Bob Lilly, the one thing you're going to see is a terrifically organized team. So we're going to have to probably see a more combination play.
Yeah, really.
Bad pass there, a giveaway by Forbes. McInerney's coming on.
Yeah.
Tried to win it at the edge of the 18. Vunky Azil will come through, and the rookie
did very well there.
Takes possession and actually drew the foul as well.
I think he lucked out a little bit there to get that free kick.
Well, as I was saying, there was no room behind the back line, but they hit that diagonal ball.
Yeah,
and then I was about to say that they really can't play vertically, but this one just got a step.
Actually, it was a bump with Adewale that knocked McInerney off the ball.
Yeah, and I thought he was going to give a penalty kick.
It was close. It was close.
But look, Indy putting some pressure on right now, and Hounds kind of like trying to get reorganized.
Well, Gene, to your point earlier, this is the first big test for the Hounds at home. They have played Cincy, but that was on the road, a 2-2 draw a few weeks back. And at home, though, they've taken care of the teams who are currently out of the playoff field, the teams with losing records. They drew with Penn FC, but they beat Ottawa, they beat Toronto, both at the bottom of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, all at the bottom. And
Kerr with a good ball.
Kerr into the box.
And as I said earlier, I think that's why it's such an important match for both teams. The Riverhounds are certainly going to be up for it because they know that, and they know this is a true test, and they know it's at home they have to pick up the points. And I think one of the things that the Hounds have struggled with the last couple of years is dropping points at home in some of these key matches, which by the end of the season has really, really hurt us. So I'm sure Bob Lilly has them very aware of that. And on the same token, the Indy 11 has been exceptional on the road, and they want to keep that. They want to keep that going, and they know this is an important test for them also.
The Riverhounds have not made the USL playoffs the last 2 years. Made it in 15, made it in 13 the first year at Highmark Stadium.
Boys.
High cross by Lewis, but way too deep over the top toward the Steel Army.
Lewis did the hard part, getting past the three players, and then just really didn't do much with the cross.
With the cross, no. As Paul Child always used to say, that one's bringing snow.
Thank God it's not cold enough for snow today. And here he is getting through three Hounds.
I tell you.
It was Lee and Forbes that he beat directly.
Yeah, it did the hard part and then blew the...
Nathan Lewis, the native of Trinidad and Tobago, one of two players from TNT on this squad.
And Nathan Lewis was at, I hate to bring this up because it makes me ill, but I believe he was on the TNT team that took the U.S.,
United States, yes. I was going to mention it if you weren't, Gina, even though, again, it does pain me to know that the Stars and Stripes will not be competing in Russia in a couple of months.
No, they will not.
That's bad. We would like to not talk about that the rest of the way. But the good thing is we have a full USL slate ahead of us this year. And more matches than ever, 34. This is match 8 for the Hounds. Same deal for Indy 11. Morton again, active in this opening 20 minutes.
Very active, and I'm sure they've broke down a lot of film. They see where they're how they're trying to get behind our back line, and I'm sure that the coaching staff, Hunter Gilstrap, the goalkeeping coach, has worked a lot with Kyle staying connected to his back line and being able to take care of that space behind him.
Yeah, reading those situations. I noticed the Indies had a couple of players free all the time when they're going forward here, out wide, and
they've looked dangerous. They really have.
A tough time.
Dover slows it down. I was a little surprised that Lilly went to Morton in this big match. The rookie, just his third professional start. Dan Lynn played so well last week. Did well to sustain or hold up against a sustained attack by Toronto in the second half.
Well, both are very young keepers, but with a heck of a lot of potential, and I'm sure that Bob wants to keep them both fresh and give them continued experience in these situations.
Kerr. Here comes a cross from Dover, and he can't connect to Brett. It was right there at the edge of the 6, and it slides out over on the near side, so a throw for Indy. Jordan Dover getting more and more involved in the attack by the week.
Yeah, he is.
Leads the team in blocks, 23 years old, native of Ontario.
I think he's getting his confidence for sure now, Matt, compared to what he did for the first 2 or 3 games, and really looking dangerous going forward.
He stepped it up, he really has. And he and Francois have a connection. Francois probably should have more than the 1 goal, in fact.
Yeah, he's had some great opportunities and just been wide or off target.
Lee couldn't get by, but he does end up with a throw. He'll toss it in, does Lee, over to Kerr. Did he save it? No. According to the assistant referee.
Nowhere to go here.
Yeah, not much he could do with that one, was there, Paul? I mean, it's... but he really didn't have a lot of options. I looked off the ball, and Kevin was there close to the touchline, but there's about 4 or 5 players about 5-10 yards off the ball that he really couldn't find. So difficult one, and I think they need a little bit more movement on those restarts.
Yeah,
pretty stagnant for the Hounds in the attack early on. Lewis striding through, had his first pass blocked, but he got it back off the carom. This is laid back, though, over the shoulder of Justin Braun. He can't control, and the Hounds, Forbes, will end up with it.
Forbes did well there getting this ball. This could be dangerous.
This is Francois. Right back to Forbes. What will he do? He'll pull back, take the shot. It's blocked up into the air. Still a bit of trouble for Indy. Can the Hounds take advantage? It's Kerr. Forbes. Here comes Lee on the overlap. Ray Lee couldn't cross it in, and this ball will stay in fact. A lot of spin on it on the artificial surface. And now the throw, but the Riverhounds generating off the intercept that time.
That's a good throw.
Bouncing into the box, Brett just over the end line.
Yeah, but a little bit, that was a better sequence there from the Riverhounds. Much better movement off the ball, Paul. Yeah. Guys moving into space, some quick combinations, and they were able to get behind them a little bit. Weren't able to get that final pass, but I think that's what they have to do to continue.
So far tonight, with 2 or 3 quick. We talked about this with these 2 teams. It looks like you've got to make some combinations on the edge of the boxes to get through here, because nothing going over the top or these through passes. They're so strong in defense and reading this so well.
And
it's going to be tough.
Indy has been dangerous a little bit more off the counter. They're sitting deep, and then with McInerney and Braun, then they have a lot of movement between them, and maybe trying to confuse the 3 of Vankayazu and Zio and Pratzner and Adewale, and see if they can create some space in behind them before Lee and Dover can get back to connect and provide some balance.
Kevin Kerr will take this corner. The Riverhounds' first of the match. They try to tilt the field a bit. Low-driven ball, and the aerial fight for it. It was Francois going up against Ring, and it looked like it was off of Francois' head last. Goal kick, Indy.
I think he was looking to the referee about some pushing in his back there, but referee having nothing to do with it, obviously, in the box.
The keeper, Owain, Fawn Williams from Wales. This is his first action ever in the USA this season. On loan from Inverness, the Scottish League.
Inverness, is that Inverness Caledonia Thistle?
I believe so.
All right.
Yeah, Gene Klein showing off his knowledge of
off my geography.
I think he lived there for about 6 months.
I got stuck in a roundabout in Inverness.
Just escaped a couple of days ago, in fact.
Yeah, exactly. I was there for about 7 hours.
There's a takeaway by the Riverhounds as they take it upfield again, 4 strong. Francois out wide. Dover in for Brett. Couldn't get the foot to it, but another corner coming up. The Riverhounds threatening now, trying to strike for another first half goal. They had 2 all of the year coming into last week, and they picked up 2 in the first half against Toronto. They'll try to keep that trend going. They haven't trailed all year, have the Hounds.
Yeah, that was a tough one for Nico to do anything.
Yeah, it really
there.
was.
He's really gone past the near post already.
And they take the lead. The Steel Army pounds on the bleachers at the Paul
Oh,
Child
wide
stand.
open.
Spun right in toward the spot. Funky as heel couldn't handle, and ring clears.
Yeah, I think if he could just pull that one back a little bit on that cross ball. I mean, a couple guys were coming down the pipe. I know Kevin Kerr was at the back post. If he could just pull that back a little bit. It's good to have that low-driven ball into the near post, but he was well marked.
Yeah, you got to be in the right place there to get to make anything of it, Gino. There.
Zemansky walks the tightrope. Now Kerr. And a throw in deep in the attacking third for the Riverhounds. Kerr to Zemansky. Kevin Kerr became the second leading point getter in Riverhounds history last week with a goal and an assist. 68 points for the Scotsman. Lee right over the top of one of the defenders' heads. That was Carlisle Mitchell. He couldn't flag it down, but his keeper was right there, Fawn Williams. He slugs it away.
Oh, good job there by Thomas.
Funky is another aerial duel one. He continues to impress. And he started the year as a midfielder. Now he's the center back. And he has controlled things no matter where.
And that's really impressive here, like with the three, and you have the rookie there in the middle who's
great
Forbes
takeaway.
steps up. Another takeaway for Pittsburgh.
Hit one.
Forbes is open. Canardo Forbes. He'll give it wide. This is Dover firing and blocked. Another corner Pittsburgh, but a promising counterattack.
I'd like to see Francois in that position instead of Dover, because we know Francois has a real good power shot that we've seen him score this year, and Dover seems to be taking all those wide crosses.
Francois did score from a similar spot, you're right, against Toronto here in that 4-0 win. That's when Brett had the hat trick. It's Kevin Kerr, the captain. Third corner kick. This one bounces free, and again, the Hounds can't find it. Suni Saad takes care of business for Indy. And Lee right back in on his keeper. But the last 5 minutes have belonged to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Indy having some trouble in its own defensive third, connecting on passes upfield. The Hounds are jumping all over him.
No, they should.
The Riverhounds look dangerous on those corners also. I mean, you very rarely see some balls dropping in the box like that, and we just have to get on the end of them. But
yeah, that's the kind of thing that Nico Brett loves. Anywhere from that penalty spot in, Gino, he's been really sharp this year, and he loves those real close range bobbling balls that just ricochet around and gets on the end of them.
We've seen him plenty of time from his days at Robert Morris, and he is
another takeaway. Look out, Francois. Brett missed the goal from 18 yards away.
And we've seen him put shots like that away, but he's very good at anticipating where to go and getting there early to finish plays.
And Brett with that chance, as you see on replay.
Yeah, see, it's sort of like he caught a little bit with the
he
inside
got
of his
over
foot.
the top of it more. And he knew the keeper had the near post covered.
Didn't get the clean strike that he wanted.
Brett's a great story. You mentioned the Robert Morris lineage there, out of Jamaica, drafted by Portland, Seattle in the MLS. Couldn't make the club there. And now at age 26, maybe he's latched on with the team.
But he was with Portland Timbers too.
Correct, he was, yes. So he has been around the block
and that's when, of course, Ben Zemansky was out there also with the Timbers, with their first team. But I think Ben, coming back from injury a few times, may have played with Nico, because Ben got a few games with the Timbers too, just trying to rehabilitate some injuries.
And Zemansky, the Akron native, just a couple of hours down the road.
Akron native and Pittsburgh heritage. His dad, Dan, is coach at Hiram College, and is a native of St. Clair.
Gene, that's why you're here, man, to bring the tidbits on Pittsburgh.
Well, listen,
soccer.
I got a real tidbit for you.
I'm all ears, as always.
Fun fact, Ben Zemansky's grandfather was my junior high and high school principal.
How about that?
Yeah.
As it's headed right into the box, and
so
Fawn Williams has
needless to say,
it.
I knew him well, because I was in the office a lot.
Were you that kind of a student?
No, I was, I was discussing how we could make it a better place.
Oh, I see. I see. Deflected ball here. The Riverhounds' high pressure is causing some havoc. And it's Lee right at the midfield stripe. That time, though, he gave it up. And Indy tries to regain its equilibrium this time.
This is a
Slid
good
through,
pass.
great ball by Lewis onto the backside and missing high. Sod in a bid for his 3rd goal of the year. He's not going to get a much better look, I don't think.
No, that was
that was a great opportunity.
That was a terrific diagonal ball across. And they caught us a bit on transition, Paul.
Yeah, he could have got.
The Hounds got spread out.
Yeah.
Well, he had a man on his backside. I don't know if that was Dover. I think it was, who was approaching. So maybe he felt like he had to let it go. And it was Dover. On look at the replay. SUNY Sod played 12 times for Sporting KC last year in MLS. Also 8 caps for Lebanon.
Indy's only been down in the Hounds half for the last, maybe once or twice in the last 10-15 minutes. Hounds have been really putting on a lot of pressure.
As I said, they're really dropping kind of low, and I don't know if they're trying to absorb a little bit, then set us, on the counter, because they are getting out very quick, as we saw in that last attack.
Yeah.
Indy has been dangerous despite the lack of possession lately. Bounding ball right near the penalty arc.
It's a great chance again.
Yeah.
Now flag down, Sod, and he missed with the right foot this time. SUNY Sod dangerous.
Another guy with MLS experience showing his quality there as far as coming in, trying to find some pockets to receive it. Just couldn't connect on that. But their danger appears to be hitting those diagonal balls across.
Yeah.
And then trying to play some second balls.
Yeah, I mean, 1 minute he was over on the left side. Now he's taking off on the right side.
Right.
He seems to be really moving around and causing some problems for nobody seems to know to pick him up. He's getting some space.
There goes
McInerney has a step. Oh, a fine sliding tackle by Vunky Azil. Last year's Division II Player of the Year in NCAA soccer. University of Charleston down in West Virginia. And he's the only Riverhound to have played every minute of the first 7 matches. And this is typical for Indy to put on some pressure early. They've scored 7 times, 6 of which in the first half. This is out for another Indy throw, right in front of that small group, but hardy group of Indy supporters in the blue and red.
Yeah, they might have all fit in one van.
I'm guessing they probably did. Flicked on back, trying to create something in a tight space. Over there is Ioze, member of the USL Team of the Week. He's pinned to the corner, still in play. Both Pratzner and Zemansky are bodying him up, and it finally does trickle out. And I believe we'll see a corner kick here.
I think he could have called that for dangerous play there, where that ball was stuck under his leg and just hold, it's kind of like just sitting on the top of it.
That was open for interpretation, but it'll be spotted up. And Indy gets its second crack at a corner. Well, this time, they hope to not be called for a violation off of it. They can actually generate a chance, maybe. This is low driven in and redirected wide of that far post. Last off of a Hound, in fact, so we'll do it again from that same spot.
No, I didn't think that.
Take a glance at the replay. There were chaos.
In swinging ball to near post, and
McInerney there.
Yeah, it looks like he got his ankle. He got caught up.
Dover.
With Dover, yep. Well, looks like they're not swinging.
It's going to be a far post ball this time, no?
The lefty ball. Dover wins that, but not all the way out. Lewis, first time, is well over the goal. And into the parking lot, in fact, down there at Station Square. We're here at Highmark Stadium on the south shore of the Monongahela River. Just across the river from downtown Pittsburgh, if you're unfamiliar. I think it's the best view in USL.
And a terrific night to play. Perfect weather.
Yeah, nice and cool.
See one
of the Indy 11 players is down and injured. It appears the right leg is the problem.
I think he's got a groin pull or something.
Oh, no, it's
really
left.
He's like grabbing his...
Carlisle Mitchell. I was talking about Vunky Azil playing every minute of every match. Mitchell has started every match. He's the only non-keeper, the only player not named Owain Fawn Williams to have played in every match so far. But now he's taken on a knock and The athletic trainer Brian Gerlach's going to head out to take a look.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened
No, I think
with that. If it had something to do with the corner kick.
Yeah, I just think he just took off, and then I saw him hold his
Yeah, I think he's going to have to be substituted for it. Look at the frustration on his face.
We'll take a gander at it and see if we can figure out exactly when and where.
Oh,
Carlisle
yeah, he
Mitchell
just pulls it.
Yeah,
He's not touched.
Yeah, not touched. It's just he looks like he plants, and you can see him immediately grab his leg, and I think his night is over, unfortunately.
The 30-year-old's going to walk off. Indy, previous to this match, played 3 in 8 days. They had a busy stretch. But 5 days to get ready for this one. They played last Saturday at home against Louisville City. This is going to be the busy time of the schedule for everyone in American soccer, with the U.S. Open Cup coming in too, so teams are going to have to go to their depth.
Sure.
And, well, for Indy, they go to the depth a little bit earlier than they would have wanted. Brad Russin is ready to check in. He takes the warm-up top off. Russin, the Indiana native, in fact, is in on the back line for Martin Rennie and his Indy 11 squad. Russin, I feel like a broken record, but another player with MLS experience on this Indy team. Played with the Whitecaps of Vancouver in 2013.
Well, I think Martin Rennie might have been the coach at Vancouver.
In fact, he was, from 2011 to 13. That's who he was managing at the time. And you mentioned he's been in this league before. He was in the NASL with Carolina.
Yeah, he was. He led short-lived Cleveland City Stars, a very, very strong team. Paul and I remember too well. And Martin led him to the championship and did a terrific job.
Brett gave it up in some traffic. That's picked up by Saad, who is impressive, putting in his defensive shifts in this one for an attacking player of his ilk. Throw in Indy. 36th minute. First it was Indy dictating terms at the start, and then Pittsburgh pushed back. Now what do we have before the halftime whistle? Morton will be able to slow it down and control play for now.
And you're seeing now, Gino, you're seeing they're really spread out right now compared to how they were the first 15.
Yeah, but now
minutes.
they're pushing their line up now, and look at how compact the back both back lines are, within about 15, 20 yards. And Indy wants
another deep ball here.
Yeah, they want to play that over top.
And Morton just barely stayed in his area to do the two-hand overhead throw. Lee wins the battle to take it away.
Well done.
Forbes on to Kevin Kerr with some space in front of him. He gave back to Forbes, Kenardo Forbes, the Jamaican midfielder. Here comes Francois to pick it up, and it's off a body and out. Corner kick Pittsburgh. Off of Brad Ring, who slid in.
Francois a little bit late there, getting there, because I think the pass was maybe not exactly where he thought it was going to go, and if he'd have started off one step sooner, I think he'd have been in behind the defense.
Fourth corner for Pittsburgh. And the bearded one, Kevin Kerr, will take, both hands extended up in the air.
A good time to score a goal right now.
The Hounds don't have a goal off of a set piece yet this season. Kerr, back post ball. Fawn Williams, two-handed punch. But Zemansky serves it right back in. Trying to go back against the grain, and Brett rises up. But he couldn't direct that on target. Final attempt, though. Prassner was bumped. No foul coming. Indy in possession now.
Yeah, I think he was inside the box, maybe in the top corner of the box, and the referee saw where it was and didn't call that because it was a definite bump in the back.
Adewale aggressively heading that ball ahead.
But I think there you saw, I mean, he was going up clearly going for the ball, though. I mean, you know, be a difficult one to call, but
let's look at that chaos in the box.
Yeah, great box there, and Zemansky throws it right back, puts it right back in, and that's
low percentage, but ambitious from Nico.
Quite a little bit ambitious for sure.
Nothing wrong with that in that spot.
Take your chances.
If you connect, you're a hero, right?
Yeah,
throw in for Pittsburgh.
Well, his confidence is flowing right now with the goals he's been scoring. So you know, you would always think you've got an opportunity when anything comes over like that.
Yeah, why not? You're second in the league in goals.
Yep.
You are feeling it. including a goal last week, and this is a takeaway by that man, Brett. Nico Brett, former Robert Morris Colonial, over to Canardo Forbes, former Rochester Rhino. He knows Bob Lilly's system well, but this time he has it poked away from him by Lewis. Zemansky helping out, pushed it a little bit deeper, but cleared up into the air by Ouimet. Bouncing out into touch.
Yeah, I don't know Zemansky what he was thinking there. It didn't seem like it was. It didn't have a good touch on the ball. Maybe
no,
he was
did
trying
not,
to cut it a little bit short.
Just try to get it back in. But
yeah,
again, I'm really interested in watching the dynamic between Zemansky and Canardo Forbes.
Yeah.
Both of them maybe, not static in any way, shape, or form.
No, always
trying
buzzing,
to pick up, but both doing very well to protect the back three with any service into McInerney or to Justin Braun. So they're doing well there, and they're cutting off those lanes, which is forcing Indy to try to go over top a little bit more and maybe a little bit more vertically than they want, Paul.
Zemansky commits the foul there as he was beaten cleanly. Nico Mattern, the German midfielder, 25 years old, first time in the U.S. He had plenty of touches in the match against Louisville City last week, but not much of a factor here early on. We looked at the replay there. That was McInerney fouling Adewale a couple of minutes ago. And Zemansky has been known to draw a few whistles, aggressive. Mattern to the arc. Bunky Azil handles clinically. But Francois couldn't flag down. 40th minute now. Ticking toward the end of the opening half. In this collision of teams in the playoff zone. Yeah, it's early, but these teams have put themselves in nice positions to start the season.
Whoops. That was a
bit of a mishandle by Fawn Williams, but no Riverhound within the vicinity. So no harm, no foul in that case. McInerney lays it back. Soon Saad has an opening. Saad. Lewis wanted to go right back to him on the one touch, but it's broken up, and Lewis is upset at himself.
Yeah, McInerney did very well with that to knock. I mean,
yeah, that was a good opportunity.
Was all over his back. I was really surprised they did not call foul there because he had hands on over top his shoulders.
Brad Ring will take this throw.
Guessing he can throw it pretty far near
and they let him handle it. It's right into the 6 and cleared by Zemansky. And now Lewis tries a wild attempt.
I'm a little surprised Cal Morton didn't come for that one, Paul. I mean, it was in the air a little bit long, and it wasn't. He had a clear path to the ball. And I think our defender's a little bit surprised too because it dropped, and you can see where Zemansky has to handle it. It's below his waist, and I'm normally not seeing that inside the goal area there.
Morton never left his line. In fact, if you look at that replay, so he's let his back line handle, and in that case, it was actually Zemansky who ended up getting there. Adewale, native of Maryland, over to Ray Lee. And Adewale right up the center of the pitch.
That one's got snow on it, Jane.
Bunky Azil unfazed by that.
Paul, we've had enough of that already. So
let's not say that.
Don't use that saying. Wait till it's 90 degrees and we know there's no chance.
Pressner hammers it forward. And Kerr couldn't get to that bounding ball.
Oh, battled well there.
But a take back by Pittsburgh. Brett to Kerr, and now it's Lee. Kevin Kerr. The dish with the outside of the foot was a good one. Lee, he spun it out of bounds himself. Bob Lilly off of his bench, yelling directions as he was a little bit ago. Here is Braun. And the give off to Lewis. He might have given up on that one a little bit early, I thought. It started to slow down, but as it turned out, the overlapping run doesn't work, and the Hounds will get the goal kick.
Boy, he did give up on that one, though.
I thought so, too, yeah.
I thought something else had happened, and it was called for something, but it wasn't, and he can move pretty quick. I would have thought he could have got that and kept it in.
Scooped it as he walked through. Unable to control.
Hound's ball must have come off the Indy defender.
We've seen scoreless first halves here many a time in the early going.
And both sides, as we as we thought before the game, both very tight in the back and certainly keeping everything very, very compact.
McInerney on the intercept, and he'll give it back to his winger over there.
For Indy, it seems to be their best opportunities have been on diagonal balls, trying to beat our back line. And I really think, Paul, when we have looked most dangerous is when Kevin Kerr's been around the ball and been buzzing and making some things flow, like right now.
And here is Kerr, right through. Francois, he's going to get there. Stop made by Fawn Williams, who slid out.
Keeper did well there, but I thought that was going to go through his legs, but his back leg trailed and he got a touch on it.
Sure did. I think you're spot on with that one, Paul.
Look.
It was actually under Fawn Williams.
Yes.
He could have gone in the net from his back leg, but did very, very well there, closing that one down. I thought.
But again, we see Kerr getting into this little pockets, being able to wheel and deal.
A little bit more on this one. Adewale, he scored
There's a shot.
in that spot before and driven through on the volley by Pratzner, or pardon me, Zemansky, actually. Pratzner was into the box, the back. Zemansky missing on the volley.
But I'd like to see Kevin see them find Kevin a little bit more so we can play through him because he's able to find Francois. He's able to find Nico Brett, you know. So hopefully they can start connecting a little bit more with some of those passes. Every one of our best attacks have been when we've had some quick combination plays.
Yeah, combinations. And they did very well in Toronto this last week together, you know, and with these short passes and 4 or 5 yard touches. And here they...
Francois on the end of this one. Cristiano Francois over on the left flank. We don't usually see him over here.
No.
Forbes to Lee, wanted to punch it through, but it's taken away. Lewis turned this way and that, and he gave it on back to Ring. 1 minute of stoppage time upcoming, as announced now by the PA. Bunky Azil getting to it ahead of Saad, and Morton dispatches it.
What was nice there, Gino, I felt that, you know, 3 Riverhounds there really working hard for each other, waiting for the other one. Somebody not quite getting the connection and then making up for that guy and working hard to win that ball back. It did very well.
The back three of Pratzner, Vakianzil, and Toby are really staying very, very tight and very well connected. And then that, and when necessary, then we see Lee or Dover come back and connect to add to that 4th guy. But those 3 have to stay. If they're going to stay with those 3, then they have to stay very, very tight and make sure there's no gaps. And they've done, except for maybe 1 or 2 chances, they've hit some diagonal balls through us. That one opportunity that Indy had.
Zemansky won that ball. Francois is going to try to make a penetrating run. Kerr is spun off of it, but given right back to Ben Zemansky. An active first half for the Hounds, number 13. Pratzner stepping up, getting involved. Todd Pratzner. The fine little dish over to Dover, into the box. Kerr slides, can't get that second opportunity. This is Forbes. Final minute of the first
really
half.
Putting some pressure on here. It looked like the one.
Lead of Forbes. It's off of the foot of Lewis, and a beautiful little back heel creates some space and allows Indy to survive that final offensive thrust for the Hounds. So some activity as this half continued on. It seemed to pick up, and Pittsburgh creating some chances off the takeaways in the middle of the field. Indy's been dangerous on the counter too. Entertaining opening 45. Make it 46, in fact, here in Pittsburgh, but we are scoreless once again at Highmark Stadium going into the second half. Coming up after this break, we'll take a closer look at Kevin Kerr, Mr. Riverhound. You might want to call him that at this point in his 6th year with the club. Still kicking, still contributing in a variety of ways. Matt Geica with Paul Child and Gene Klein. We shall return after this break on ESPN+.
It's so unfair. You just feel stripped of being a woman, not being able to have a child. Where they had told me that I can't have kids naturally. It was just like waterworks.
Yeah, what's it like being pregnant?
But it's an amazing thing to know that I don't have all of the things to make a baby, but I still made this baby.
I mean, it really is a miracle.
Seriously.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with a fertility expert at Allegheny Health Network.
A lot of clients ask us what makes us different. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Joyce's signature collection. We truly are jewelers. We're passionate about jewelry. We understand the process of making jewelry and what it takes to make the highest quality product at the best value. We travel the world to bring back and create the most unique diamond jewelry collection that you will find anywhere. If you've never shopped Joyce's, I personally invite you to visit our store. I know you're gonna love it.
At Joyce's Jewelry.
I developed some postpartum depression. I noticed that, I wasn't connecting with my daughter as much. I didn't want people to judge me for this.
I'm on the green couch because my wife did not survive her battle with postpartum depression. That's why I work with HN and Highmark, and we're building a safe place for new moms so that other moms like you can find their joy.
Hope for families struggling with postpartum depression is at Allegheny Health Network.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
You're looking at PPG Place there, towering above the Pittsburgh downtown skyline. The hometown Riverhounds locked up in a good one here, 0-0 at the half against Indy 11. Plenty of chances for both sides. Enjoyable stuff here in the opening half of this one. Going back to last week, though, guys, it was a historic moment for Mr. Riverhound himself, Kevin Kerr, number 10. As the Steel Army says, he's here, he's there, he's everywhere. He was on the score sheet with a goal and an assist. Became the second leading scorer in Hounds history with 68 points. And what can you say about Kevin Kerr? Gene, we've been watching him for many years here, and it was a pretty classic game for him last week up in Rochester.
It really was, and he's such a valuable member of this team, but also the organization. He's a class act on and off the field, and he's something that really gives a lot back to the team and to the community, and most for fans, he's just a heck of a lot of fun to watch because he's so involved. He's such an intelligent player. He knows where everybody is on the field. Brings everybody into the game, I think, and we're lucky to have him. And I can't believe it's been 6 years already, but I hope we have him for 6 more.
Well, as you saw there on the screen there with the graphic, 4 separate categories is in the all-time top 5 in team history. I mentioned the points, but also appearances, goals tied for 5th, assists tied for 3rd, shots 2nd, and, well, Paul, we were talking about a couple of weeks ago maybe Bob Lilly pacing Kevin Kerr or perhaps pushing Kevin Kerr in a lot of ways by taking him out earlier than we're used to seeing. Kevin Kerr's been a 90-minute player when he's been at his best in Pittsburgh. Talking to Bob today, he said, hey, we just want to make sure that everyone's on the same level. He's treating everyone the same. If he doesn't see what he wants to see, he's going to take him out. But for the most part, it's been good stuff from Kevin, and good to see him get on the score sheet last week.
Oh, no, I think we talked about it for sure when he didn't start the one game, and then he came in, and I said to you, and I think we agreed that this might be, a little message from Bob Lilly. Hey, you got to, and with the attitude that Kevin Kerr has, that we knew when he came onto the field that he was going to do something, and immediately he actually got an assist on that. It was a 1-0 game against Ottawa.
Yes,
and
exactly.
And he came in that game, and you could see his intensity, which Gene was just saying. He is Mr. Pittsburgh when it comes to playing for his team, and he gives everything he can for this club, and it shows on the field, and when it's working for him, he makes things happen, and I think it's great to see him and Nico Brett. They're starting to get it together and get that chemistry and really coming up with some good combinations. We saw one tonight, and we saw 2 on the weekend in Toronto.
But I also think he does very well and connects very well with Canardo, Forbes, and Ben Zemansky.
Sure.
Because the three of them have very, very high soccer IQ, and they know where each other is at, and they can find other players, and they can play off each other. So it's a terrific little midfield, and it can be, as the season progresses, very dynamic.
Oh yeah, and I think we've been waiting for that to happen too, you know, and it's finally getting there, and we're seeing the chemistry come together.
Well, as discussed, the Hounds have a busy time coming up, and this isn't even counting U.S. Open Cup potentially, but at Tampa Bay, and then home schedule 3 matches in the next month, give or take. Penn FC, Nashville, the Hounds have already seen them. New York Red Bulls too, usually a strong outfit in this league, and Richmond Kickers, one of the old guard teams here in USL. The strength of schedule, guys, is going to get a little bit tougher here for the Hounds, including tonight's match. So a nice primer, I would suppose, for what's to come yet before we really get into the teeth, into the meat of this USL schedule, which is 34 matches long for the first time ever.
Yeah, you know, they've already had the 2 matches with Toronto, a match with Ottawa, and as we mentioned earlier, the toughest test has been at Cincinnati, but now where you have Tampa Bay, you have Nashville coming up, Penn FC, the local derby again. So you have some real, at Richmond Kickers, again, as you mentioned, Matt, one of the old guard rivalries that we've been playing each other since the inception of the Riverhounds in '99. So truly some tests, and I'm sure the coaching staff probably wants this team in some sort of flow that they're moving and all the parts are going together, and he has a real good idea of what players are going to be in what spots.
And I think you're going to get to see a lot more players too. I think he's going to keep popping new players here and there just to get them going.
Right, and with U.S. Open Cup coming up, you'll need to dig in and
the bench strength will come into play now.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for us for right now from Highmark Stadium. Coming up after this break, get the players' perspective on all the action around the USL. The Tampa Bay Rowdies' Jack Blake will host the Blake Down. That's coming up imminently here on ESPN+.
Welcome to episode 7 of the Blake Down. I've got my good friend and roommate Cody Mizell with me. Welcome to the show, mate.
Jack, always a pleasure. Best haircut in USL.
We're going to be analysing the saves of the week this week, something slightly different. Cody will obviously give his critique on the goalkeeper, and I'll be able to give an analysis of the attacking play, so it should be a good one.
To the right side, blocked out of harm's way, allows Restrepo to get back in. Casares a chance.
So it's a good couple actions here from Diego Restrepo. First, he's coming for a cross, looking like his 20-year-old self. Second one, makes himself big and gets himself in a good position, and honestly makes a good save, push over the bar.
Yeah, from an attacking perspective, Fresno here, when Bustamante picks up the ball and Restrepo is literally 2 or 3 yards in front of him, he makes the great decision to pass it. It gives his team the opportunity in the defense of San Antonio to get back and get into a good position. So Restrepo makes a great decision. It's very forward thinking, it's on his front foot, and it's a fantastic play.
This one delivered in dangerously to the penalty area. Great save by Maxi Crepeau.
So this clip has a couple good things in it. First of all, good decision from Crepeau to stand his line, and obviously when the header's in 6 yards out, makes a good decision, good feet, stands strong and makes a strong save to the right, keep his team in the game midway through the first half.
Yeah, and Kevin Politz takes advantage of losing his man. It's a great set piece, great ball in. One thing that maybe if he had the header again, he might choose to head it back across goal into the corner. You know, it makes it more difficult for the keeper to do that. But again, it's a fantastic effort on goal. Like Cody said, it's great reflexes from Crepeau, and it's a fantastic play.
Gets away from his defender, now sends it in towards goal. Headed save, Marcinkowski.
Marcinkowski, I think, gets my vote for save of the week this week. Puts himself in a great spot to make the save. Well defended by his defender as well to have us back after a brilliant save.
Jacob probably has in his head to head it down. You know, when you head it down, it makes it more difficult for keepers when it's at their feet. And that's exactly what he does there. So in my opinion, he doesn't do anything wrong. He does the right thing and heads it down. And Marcinkowski, it's a fantastic save. You know, reflexes are fantastic on that play. I hope you all enjoyed episode 7 of the Blake Down, something slightly different this week. Thanks again, Cody, for coming on the show.
Jacko, pleasure working with you, man.
I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
To the right side, blocked out of harm's Armsway allows Restrepo to get back in. Casares a chance. What a save by Restrepo. It was another fantastic save by Diego Restrepo.
This one delivered in dangerously to the penalty area. Great save by Maxime Crépeau off that close-range header.
Oh my goodness, that was an absolute terrific save, Graham.
Cashier from distance, pushed up and over the crossbar. A good look, and that one had eyes for the back of the net.
Gets away from his defender, now sends it in towards goal. Headed save, Marcinkowski. Rebound won't go either, and Reno able to clear it away.
Comes to Walker. Walker will have a go! It's a great save by Williams to pop it over the bar.
I developed some postpartum depression. I noticed that, I wasn't connecting with my daughter as much. I didn't want people to judge me for this.
I'm on the green couch because my wife did not survive her battle with postpartum depression. That's why I work with HN and Highmark, and we're building a safe place for new moms so that other moms like you can find their joy.
Hope for families struggling with postpartum depression is at Allegheny Health Network.
Through the years, you've done right by investing in your home. And now, you can use that equity to borrow money for the things you need. With a low 1.99% APR and no fees, you can apply for a home equity loan online and use the money to upgrade to that minivan, make home improvements, or finance college. At Clearview, we can help you find ways to use the equity in your home for more important things. Let us help. Visit us online for more information. Clearview Federal Credit Union, the next generation of personal banking.
I just want to make sure that I just do everything I can to just protect him and love him and just, just be the best mom I can be.
Yeah. And with your first, you want to know the doctor because you want to be comfortable with them.
Yeah. I don't want to feel like I'm at a baby factory.
Be like this.
The region's fastest growing labor and delivery program is at Allegheny Health Network.
A lot of clients ask us what makes us different. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Joyce's signature collection. We truly are jewelers. We're passionate about jewelry. We understand the process of making jewelry and what it takes to make the highest quality product at the best value. We travel the world to bring back and create the most unique diamond jewelry collection that you will find anywhere. If you've never shopped Joyce's, I personally invite you to visit our store. I know you're gonna love it.
At Joyce's Jewelry.
Returning to Pittsburgh for the second half of this one, Riverhounds and Indy 11. No goals on the board, but plenty of shot attempts at the very least. The Hounds got one of their 8 on target. The Riverhounds haven't gotten a ton on target this season, but, in this one, at least they have generated the looks. Indy 11 has had their opportunities, possession slightly in favor of the visitors. Not many offsides, and no one booked in the opening 45 minutes. I'm Matt Geica with Paul Child and Gene Klein. We're bringing you the action here on ESPN Plus tonight. A marquee matchup in the USL's Eastern Conference. Anything from that stat sheet stand out to you there, Paul?
No, just the possession. I was a little bit surprised at the possession. I thought Indy kind of had possession in the first 15 to 20 minutes. It seemed having a couple of good chances towards goal or getting into the box. But very even. I mean, they're both very even teams. It's a good game, actually. These two teams, it's going to be a mistake by somebody and a missed kick or something.
Or a set piece.
Some set piece, maybe. Yeah, corner kicks look dangerous, Gino, for the Hounds.
Yeah, and we said probably in the first 5 minutes too that you could tell how tight and how compact everything was. It was going to be very difficult for one team to dominate possession the way the Hounds had against Toronto and some of the other opponents. Indy had it a little bit, probably because they kept it a little bit more coming out of the back, Paul.
Yeah. But never really penetrated, did they?
But as we said, their best attacks have been when they did hit us on the counter a little bit and maybe try to get a diagonal ball in behind.
Yeah. There you see the man in charge, Eric Tattersall, ready to drop the ball on the center spot. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com, and you can get free shipping, in fact, on orders over $50. selectsportamerica.com. And well, there you see the Riverhounds have not given up goals. They've barely given up shots on target. In fact, Indy didn't have any in that first half. So Kyle Morton, despite being active off his line, remember he roamed about 40 yards from goal about 5 minutes in, but he hasn't had to make an actual save in this one. Fawn Williams made the stop on Francois, you'll recall, with the trailing leg on that slide just before the half. And the Hounds back line tested immediately. Morton is there.
And again, you can see them trying to play that ball in behind diagonally, and Morton has been very active and has done very well with that. And, you know, Zemansky trying to do the same for the Riverhounds, but also wonder was the change in goal made between Lynn and Morton because Kyle Morton's a little bit quicker to cover that space behind the back line. That, you know, certainly with
that might be the reason,
staff,
Jay,
they're going to examine a lot of tape and take a look at things like that.
Braun's going to try one. Lewis
and there
unable
he is
to get
again.
there.
And there's Morton again.
There he is, the quick first step. He's out there in a hurry. We're here at Highmark Stadium. The beautiful backdrop, dusk falling in Pittsburgh. The Pirates are playing the Giants across the river. Hounds and Indy over here. Busy sports night. The first Friday night match of the year. A rare Friday nighter at Highmark. Good to have you along on ESPN+.
And the Penguins are playing golf.
Yes, they are. They're playing a different type of sport. They wish they were still active. Stanley Cup playoffs over here in Pittsburgh. It's like right on my mouth, basically. The coaching matchup tonight, Bob Lilly against Martin Rennie, and you've seen two structured teams. Here's a steal, though, by Pittsburgh. Cristiano Francois will try that far side against Ring. Couldn't get it through. Taken on by Braun. He gave it up. Zemansky right there with the pressure.
Whoops.
But can't make anything happen, can the Hounds in fours. Back comes Indy, turning one way, and the other is Braun. Probably that was Saad back there making the play. Now it's Braun over here on near wing. Taken on by Steinberger. Now running through McInerney. Can't get there in time. Winning the race, Funky Azil. Thomas Funky Azil, the Hounds rookie.
Funky Azil very composed, very calm there to make that play.
Yeah, he's quick too.
Yeah, he's and quick. They couldn't get the first step on him, so he's been very impressive for coming right out of Charleston, correct, Matt?
Indeed, yes.
Another
Golden
header back.
Eagles, and there's a grab by Morton.
Yeah, got
James Madison Monarch.
Little deflection there and got caught underneath his feet because he was flying off his line so quick. But obviously been told to be ready for this this game, Gino. I think Morton, you know, he's way off his line all the time and ready for anything that's going to come over the defense.
Yeah, he's been very decisive coming through there, and that's what you want as the coach. You don't want someone who's taking two steps halfway and then trying to backpedal, say I can't get that. I mean, when he is gone, he has stayed with it, and he's been able to cut off a lot of those balls that have gone over top behind our back line.
Well, the Riverhounds will be tested here. Ayoze ready to put it back into play. The Hounds have not trailed for 675 minutes now on the season. Incredible stuff from Pittsburgh, their best ever start.
No, that's an amazing stat. So hopefully they can keep it going for a few more games here.
The lone unbeaten, and they don't know what it's like to try to fight uphill, and they'd rather not experience that if they had their preference, of course. And at home especially, it has been locked down with no goals conceded. Adewale can't get there, but it's not going to matter. It's a Pittsburgh throw.
You know, every team's a new team, but I think, I'm sure one of the points of emphasis for Bob Lilly and Mark Pulisic and the rest of the coaching staff has been that we have to lock it down at home.
Yep.
And we've seen way too often, maybe the last couple of years, where we've had to battle back or we've conceded one earlier.
Or give it away at the end of the game.
Give it away at the end of the game. And when you have a stadium like Highmark Stadium, you want to make sure that it is a fortress, and I'm sure that's what Bob Lilly has emphasized to this team.
Kerr pops it through. Here's a chance. Maybe falling down was Brett. No call. Just outside the arc. Tattersall, the referee, keeps his whistle in his pocket, but Kerr with the strong win over there on the far wing. Now
Here's
cutting near side.
That's a
It's
nice
Dover
ball.
from Forbes. Jordan Dover to Forbes, right back to Dover on the chip over the top. Jordan Dover's in the area. Can he turn? No,
kick.
but it's a corner kick, Pittsburgh. First of the half, their sixth of the match. Steel Army stomping on the bleachers, waiting for a goal, and
yeah, I don't think
that was a foul against Nico.
You just saw the replay on the trip, but Nico, I don't think there was any trip.
No,
he just stumbled down. Kerr has the ball placed. Well, he thinks it's on the edge of the paint line. I would say chalk, but it's paint here on the
artificial
artificial
discussion
surface.
with the assistant referee.
And now it appears everyone is ready to go. Kevin Kerr bending it in. Bunky Azil couldn't get ahead to it accurately. And looks like Indy's going to survive this one, at least for the moment. Brett's over there. He'll cross. Pratzner's still in the box, the back. Pratzner battling hard, couldn't just guide that through. And now Ring will get rid of it all the way out to the far touchline. So Indy composed under some pressure.
I really think if we can pick one up here in these corners, because even though we haven't scored or forced any great saves, we've been first to the ball almost every one, Paul, and the ones that we haven't been to have dropped.
Yeah.
So that's something that a poacher like Nico Brett or some other guys can really pounce on. Kevin Kerr is always in the right, can get that delivery in there, and somebody has to be on the end of it.
No, you're right, Gino, there. Even though it gets a flick on, there's usually somebody open at the far post, and they've just got to pounce.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're winning that first ball, and the second ball is there, and
Zemansky with a switch here.
Take advantage of it, because we've had 6 of them now, so we've had some timing. And
Ioza's down in pain. He and Dover collided. Maybe Dover's head struck the back of Ioza's head.
I don't think he touched it.
He might have caught him with
his elbow.
With an elbow, yeah.
Maybe. I thought that. I saw his arm up, but boy, he went
Ioza Garcia being checked on by Brian Gerlach, who gets his second bit of duty.
It was head to
head. Yep.
Clipped him on the head.
Ioza played the last 5 years with the New York Cosmos of the NASL. Turned pro back in 2002. He's been doing this for a while, age 32. Played over in his native Spain. And as I mentioned, 2 goals from the penalty spot last week, a key cog on this Indy squad. And a good look there, the contact to the head.
Yeah. Totally unintentional. I mean, it's just one of those things where he's a little bit late for the ball, but
hazards of the job in this case. Both men went up fearlessly for it. This, by the way, is the 500th match in Riverhounds history, I should mention. The 81st different opponent that they have played. As we see these NASL teams coming into the league, we get some different opponents.
And you're saying I'm the guy with the facts. Wow, would you come up with that?
That's courtesy of the Hounds Media Relations Department. Right, Anthony Meyer, tip of the cap on that one.
Congrats to him counting up all those games.
I don't know if congrats is the word or condolences on all the time spent there.
81 different opponents.
81. This is the 81st, counting U.S. Open Cup.
Yep.
Of course, and it'll be team from Erie. The Erie Commodores will be the Hounds' opponent this week coming up at the campus of Gannon University. That's the first U.S. Open Cup match of the season this year for Pittsburgh. Of course, Indy will be involved too.
I think they beat a team from Rochester to get by on penalty kicks.
The new team in Rochester in the NPSL Developmental League. Pratzner on back, nods it upward. Lewis is there, put it right back toward the area. Bunky Azil with the aerial dual win, but drops right down to the 11 for them to control. Ioze, fine work to slide through a couple of Hounds. Ball still loose and kept in.
Another Indy player
that's
down.
like a pinball machine right there.
55th minute, no score here. And the trends have continued. The Hounds have allowed no goals at home. Indy's allowed no goals on the road.
And I can't see the player down, but he's rubbing his
jersey
his
number
right
is
thigh.
flipped up. One of the Indy players inside the touchline in front of the Riverhounds bench, if you can't see on the video screen, it's down to our left. And for the third time, an Indy player, one of the boys in blue, is in some distress, flat on his back. I didn't catch it. Must have come from that tie-up. Here it is over on the touchline.
Oh.
Nico Mattern, the German midfielder, came up lame.
Yeah,
I don't think it was from a touch. I think it was potentially from, might have been.
Yeah. No,
might have been a small collision.
Yeah, I think it was a collision. A knee into the thigh, yeah.
Might be a
he
Charlie
was rubbing
Horse
that
situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reminder that the USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league. Just a couple of matches here tonight in the USL on this Friday. Full slate tomorrow, or close to a full slate tomorrow on Saturday. Follow @USL on Twitter. And all the video content and photography across the USL is on the official Instagram account @USL Soccer. So a couple of ways via social media to keep track, in addition to the website, uslsoccer.com.
Yeah, the way Mattern's rubbing his leg there, I think it was just almost like a knee-to-knee thing, and still coming out a little slow, Paul, not real fluid with his jog out there, so he'll try to shake it off and play through it.
It's funny how that happens sometimes when you get two knees together like that, but one comes off worse. It's kind of like you're hitting your funny bone on your.
Well, yeah, and he was kind of planted with his back to the goal, and he absorbed it, so it was difficult. A little bit different situation.
Deep ball to the Hounds back line. Vunky Azil's there to take it briefly, and the Riverhounds, decked out in their white contrast kits for the first time this year, dispatch it out to the far wing, and there's Cristiano Francois, the native of Haiti. They call him the Cheetah for good reason if you watch him play. Kerr.
Nice switch of play here.
Pratzner, and now Dover. And there's the flick off of Indy's Ioze.
Yeah.
Throw in, and can the Hounds keep up the pressure? Kerr back heels it, but right to the Indy defender, or Mattern actually was doubling back to help out.
But watching Kevin Kerr in that previous sequence, and what we had said earlier, is as he found the pocket on the left side between the midfield and the back four, won the ball, spun, was in good support, got it over to the right side, and then ended up down in the corner. That's the kind of mobility that we need a little bit more of in the midfield. And when we're getting that, the Hounds look really dangerous and a really potent attacking team.
Braun volleys it away. Saad runs into trouble. Zemansky was there again. Ben Zemansky's been a turnover generator in the middle of the field, but Forbes a little ambitious, maybe a little off with that pass. Hounds will regather the Karen. Forbes, the cross, over the net, right off the top of the net. In fact, Cristiano Francois that close to his second goal of the year.
Yeah, that's where you need Nico.
Yeah.
Brett would have probably put that in the back of the net because that's his kind of area, but Francois coming in here and gets a little toe. Yeah.
Forbes beats Brad Russin to it.
Yeah, and you can see catches on his left, Paul, and it just and so tough to keep that one down off the half volley.
It fell on the roof of the net, in fact. It was close to dropping in, despite all that.
I suppose if he maybe sweeps that with his right, he's over top of the ball, but he couldn't do that because that's what the position of the defender. So
a fine cross from Forbes, nonetheless.
Oh, yeah.
He bent it around one defender and then the next. Ray Lee couldn't charge through with possession.
Trying to do a little bit too much there. Should have gave the ball out to Francois.
Another Indy player down.
Yeah, they're going down like flies.
That's Brad Ring, the captain. Meanwhile, Indy forcing the issue. Thomas Vunky Azil is there off the bounce. And we will have another stoppage in play here with Ring hands on knees. He is up.
Offside.
Oh, pardon me. I thought they were stopping for injury and said it wasn't offside. Good call there, Paul. As Zemansky unable to get that through Steinberger's pressure. Zemansky gets a second chance, and he'll take advantage of it.
Yeah, there's that combination of Forbes and Zemansky's. Ben had a difficult touch, and Forbes won it back for him, and then Zemansky's right back into the play.
Oh, and Zemansky can't handle
that
one. Despite that, I feel like this is Zemansky's best match as a Hound.
Yeah, he's playing really well tonight. He did the first couple of games and then kind of went off the boil.
He's coming off a big injury coming from Portland, and it took a while for him to. I think it's taken a while for him to get back to match fitness, really, to where he is,
And as we know, Gino, that's a confidence thing too, isn't it? You got to get back in, and you want to get back to where you were.
Yeah,
before
right.
You got injured.
And then you're coming back. You're not 100%. You're making the move from Portland to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Even though, as we said, Pittsburgh is sort of home and close to his home in Akron, but it's still a big transition for that. And you're going to a different set of training staff, different doctors.
Styles,
What's going on with all that, and it's when you haven't played for you, Paul, better than when you haven't played for a while, and then it takes a while to get back into that rhythm.
Nico Mattern is down again.
Looks like a sub Guerra coming in for.
It will be Juan Guerra getting ready, Venezuelan. As you'd imagine, it just looks like that Mattern's unable to get over the injury he sustained over here on our side of the pitch just about 5 minutes ago. So Guerra comes in for Nico Mattern. Guerra, the 31-year-old. This is his second match here at Highmark Stadium. Juan Guerra, who's a member of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, came in here and suffered a 1-0 loss on a Rob Vincent goal in the U.S. Open Cup. That was one of the more fun matches of the season in 15.
Yeah,
that was a great match.
It was a great game.
No, it's kind of odd, Mattern coming off, and they've had Indy's had a couple of players go down and get checked out by trainers, but it really hasn't seemed to be that physical a match.
No.
I mean, there really hasn't been any real reckless challenges that I've seen or anything like that.
No, nothing at all.
Nothing to endanger an opponent.
No.
This is the 5th opponent Indy's played at 500 or above. They've had some challenges here and now some physical challenges in this match. Morton on the bounce.
I thought he was going to come out earlier for that one too, Gino.
Yeah, might have been a little miscommunication between Morton and Thomas and as to what's happened, because I thought Vaki Azil let that thing drop maybe a little unnecessarily, and I don't think Morton was expecting it.
Morton drove it with the side foot. Up across midfield. Jordan Dover pump faking the throw. What's he want to do with it? He'll just go square over here to Forbes. Nardo Forbes, Kevin Kerr, Ben Zemansky, the attacking portion of the midfield has played quite well. Well, when they're on the attack, Forbes has also been sitting back at times. Nardo Forbes has been impressive, and that's part of the reason why Bob Lilly brought him over. You know so many of these players, 7 former Rochester Rhinos. Kerr, 2. The orange-booted Forbes. And Vaki Azil. Hounds build it up a little bit.
Yeah, man, we're in the 64th minute here, and not a whole lot has changed tactically. I mean, but everything is very compact. The lines are very tight, and I really think it's good to see the Hounds moving the ball. But I think we have to move it a little bit quicker, and because you're not unbalancing Indy in this manner. So again, when we've stressed them a little bit, when we've forced them and challenged them and got them out of their comfort zone, is when we've been really free-flowing, and we've seen Kevin Kerr moving off the ball a lot. So right now it's been pretty static, and the same for Indy. So neither side willing to take too many risks, Paul.
No.
Owain Fawn-Williams driving it up ahead. And it's back into the mix here. Who will settle first? It'll be Indy. And it's Justin Braun. Forced off the ball, though, by Forbes. Forbes plays it vertically and, well, nearly taken by Dover, but now Indy back on it. Carl Ouimet in tight quarters. It's one of the narrower fields in the USL. Indy plays on one as well, a little bit narrower than most, out at Lucas Oil. home field of the Indianapolis Colts. There's a handled ball by Vankiazil, and free kick up coming for Indy in a dangerous spot.
Yeah, that kind of bounced funny off the turf and caught him on his elbow, I think. And
must have been a spinner.
Yeah.
65th minute. It's starting to get tighter, and more important plays to come.
You really have to be alert on any of these set pieces because they can certainly change the game in a heartbeat.
Yep, definitely with the
and both of these teams are going to be very well coached, and I'm sure have rehearsed any set piece.
Sunni Saad, a couple of goals, also leads this Indy team in chances created. He'll be the man to strike it here. Saad going for it all, and he missed to the right.
That was a well-hit ball there, boy.
Yeah, well-struck ball.
It was a long way out too, and it was he just skimmed the top right angle.
Yeah, I think all of us were kind of looking for something special. Maybe you know, something swerved into the back post, and he said, "I think I can have a go here," and it was not far off.
No, he didn't miss by much. We get a great look
at
that.
Yeah, even closer the second time.
Less than a foot from a brilliant strike off the set piece. That's one of those that we've seen scored here by a man by the name of Vincent before he moved on to DC United. Rob Vincent now in retirement. We wish him well. Sorry to see that his career ended shorter than we all thought.
But glad to see him back in the Riverhound organization, helping with our academy teams. A terrific addition, not just for the Riverhound Academy staff, but for the players in this area.
Ring controls with poise over there, getting just token pressure from Francois. Indy will try this near wing, but Braun couldn't get there. The ball was a little too strong. Not enough air under it, not enough spin on it for it to check up. Both these teams play on artificial surfaces, so they're both accustomed to how the ball behaves here. This will be a throw for Indy. Ayoze to handle. Saad getting past Forbes briefly, but then Forbes recovered.
Yeah, not too many get past Forbes off a dribble.
No, really, he's very quick and sharp.
He is sharp. It's great to have him on our side, as we've seen him as a nemesis when he was with Rochester the last couple of years, and always an impressive player.
Here's another dangerous free kick or corner kick.
It's the first corner of the second half for Indy as they attack toward the team office side. This is the first time the Hounds have attacked toward the Steel Army in the second half in this year. Just luck of the coin flip. So a bit of a different look here. Ayoze, he'll go left-footed again. Talented striker of the ball. Seems to always catch it clean off these set pieces from some of the highlights I've seen this year.
Yeah, he does strike the ball really well. It's taking his time here.
Waiting. Now here it goes. It's toward the spot. And off of a head and all the way over out of trouble for Pittsburgh. Kevin Kerr is there. Stops up, got his foot around it. He wanted Francois in the middle, right on the ring at the center of the field. And Francois does track it down. Ball on the ground. Francois, can he get through? It's, oh boy, I think the Hounds got a call there. Looked like it was off of Francois.
Yeah, I thought it was off Francois' second touch.
I don't know, I thought so too, but the linesman was standing right there. But
so Pittsburgh will take that and move along with it. Vankiazil directing traffic with the ball at his feet.
A rare run forward for Vankiazil.
McInerney was there, and he got beat. And now Dover. With some space here. Here come the Hounds. It's Francois.
That's a good.
To Forbes. A little too far, though, for Dover to catch up to. Or pardon, Brett, actually.
Right idea. I liked him playing that bending ball behind the back line, but just a little bit too much distance on it. And
Forbes gets a foot there.
That's going to be off.
Well, the offside never occurred because the Hounds got back on into an onside position as the ball was rattling around. Ouimet couldn't get past Dover. Defender on defender there. Ayoze.
Again, it's that long diagonal ball that they want from the back four at all. Very seldom have we seen them try to connect
It's a
you know, with
keeper.
Steenberger. I mean, Sunni Saad more than anyone in the midfield. But if they have a free look, they're trying to find Saad up top or find Braun or McInerney.
Well, now the question is there a goal in this game to be had? The Hounds have averaged about a goal and a half per match. Since not scoring in their opening two, they've been one of the higher scoring teams in the USL, right there in the top 5 over that stretch from April on.
Well, it's
Indy
one of those
averaging
games
a
we
goal a
thought
game.
would be tight, and it's stayed that way.
It is,
you know, it'll be interesting if
Ray Lee has an edge. He wanted to cross there. Still bouncing loose.
Good run
and
from
deep throw for the Hounds.
from Ray Lee, pardon me, and
Nico Brett there, Gino.
Yeah.
It was Brett at the 6, indeed, looking for it. And a giveaway by Pratzner, who apologizes to everyone in white after that bad touch. Todd Pratzner, the former Rhino and native of Lancaster, PA. So that's spoiled for Pittsburgh. They'll have to backtrack here on the goal kick. 20 minutes to go, give or take. Martin Rennie prowling the sideline in the full suit. Philip Dos Santos and Dave Dixon, his assistants. For once, the Hounds will try a quick strike here. They can't make it happen.
I want to know when Bob Lilly's going to be in a full suit like that, you know?
Doesn't seem to be his style.
It does not seem to be his style, but...
Foul against Francois here on Ioze.
I think we got to call him out on that one. I mean,
it looks like a couple of Hounds are going to come in now, and Bob's going to try and send a spark.
No subs yet for Pittsburgh. I haven't called Nico Brett's name very much here in this second half. I wonder if he might be one of the men going out. In the meantime, the Riverhounds have to survive this. Lewis, boy, is he quick up that right flank, but dispossessed.
Looks like Romeo Park's going to reintroduce himself
Brett,
to Carl Lamette.
That could be interesting. We'll see if they do come together. Romeo Parks had to play in El Salvador in a non-FIBA sanctioned league to keep his match fitness up in 2016. And back with the Hounds right around this time last year, he returned. Here's the header by Steinberger. Couldn't get it all the way out.
Oh.
Kerr's on it. Kevin Kerr.
Steinberger ran right into the referee.
Turning back up the pitch. And Dover, left-footed. Kind of a floating ball, but it's pulled down by Brett.
Nice touch there by Brett.
Lee out wide. Indeed it was, but Forbes unable to make anything happen there. And it's cleared by Indy. The Indy 11 unbeaten on the road at 2-0-1. The Riverhounds are 3-0-1 here at home.
Whoop.
Fawn Williams will handle that on one bounce. Adewale missed the connection.
Indy has really pretty much dropped back to a 4-5-1 with McInerney up by himself. Braun has really popped more into the left, and you see McInerney over there.
Adewale there.
Yeah, Adewale, as he clears it, but he's by himself. Saad will come up also to help out, and Braun a little bit more on the left. So they want to make sure they're going to secure the point, and if they can get 3 points, they're going to try to catch it on a counter.
Took the header down for Indy,
I thought the ball was out of
the ball
play
was
here,
out, so the Riverhounds have a chance to make a couple of substitutions here.
Parks and Holland coming in for the Riverhounds.
Joe Holland, last year with Rio Grande Valley, former 10th overall pick of the Houston Dynamo, Joe Holland.
Yeah, Francois right. You know, I thought it was strange, Matt and Gene, that Francois has been playing on the left side now. He's been playing on the right the whole season up until today. And strange to see him over there because he's been pretty effective over here with Dover. Great combinations and had some great chances and scored a real good goal in one of the games.
Kerr out, Francois out. That's a good point there, Paul, because I feel like Francois' strong foot is his right foot, so it made sense for him to be on the right side. This time, though, it's been more Forbes filling in over here, Kerr sometimes, sometimes Zemansky. But it hasn't been that consistent connection tonight.
And you know, I mean, he comes in from the left-hand side. You can make that cut. And you get a chance with a good shot with his right. I can understand
maybe
it.
it's something that that Bob had looked at and felt that he was way more dangerous coming in.
Yeah.
From
Brett
the inside.
fights for that ball, wins it, advantage
Foul
Pittsburgh
play, calls
here.
the advantage.
Turning Joe Holland, the Englishman. Brett still writhing on the pitch, though. Forbes in the vicinity of Brett. Vonkiazio tried to drive it through. He was looking for Holland, it appeared, and cleared up and out. Brett is still down. In the meantime, it's not a down, and watch out, a chance for Saad. Did Vonkiazio get a foot in there? Might have clipped him. No call on the play, and, well, the Hounds eventually, with Ray Lee bunting it out, that'll give Brett a chance to figure out what's wrong. But that was nearly a deadly counter for Indy. And here's Brett. That second challenge from Brad Ring is what got him.
And he looks to be in some discomfort for sure.
15 minutes to go, and then some stoppage assuredly. Owain Fawn Williams is over.
He's holding his ankle. I think Ring caught him.
Yeah, we can see
the Indy keeper over to wish Nico Brett well.
It's
a pretty
he takes
rough
that
tackle.
when he's planted, and then he goes through.
He hammers him.
Steps right on him. Yep.
An advantage was called in that situation. I think rightly so, but yeah, it was a strong challenge.
Did he
maybe
book
too
him
strong.
after? I'm sorry, we were looking at the replay and we missed.
I don't think so.
I don't think he should. I mean, the way he looked back initially, I thought maybe once the play was over, he looked at Ring and
perhaps he did.
What was he going to? But
I know I didn't see anything yet, so we'll assume that nothing happened.
But I think it's worthy of one.
Yeah, he's not going to call it now. It's too late. He's missed it.
It's too late, but honestly, he needs some help from his AR there.
Really?
Too. And
I mean, on that replay, you can see he really gets hammered on his left ankle.
Yeah, it's
Brett is up with the help of athletic trainer Tim Smith.
Look, I think it was a bit of a, you can say it was a late challenge, but it was certainly a reckless challenge, and it's worthy of the caution.
The Steel Army getting it revved up.
A yellow card has been issued.
And they did give a yellow card, so Gene, your instincts were spot on there. Brad Ring has been issued a yellow.
Oh.
The caution, the first booking of this match, goes to the captain of the Indy 11. Dover in a tight space. Zemansky stumbled over. But the throw in right over to Indy's Guerra. And this possession will go to Indy.
This is what's really strange when you look at this map. When you see Parks come in and Francois go out, and the pace of both players, it's kind of like, boy, it's like day and night. Now, I understand that Parks is 6 foot something and Francois is not,
right.
and he's a lot quicker, but it's strange just to see it, and I just noticed it right there.
Sure, two very different players.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm also interested in the substitution of Holland for Kevin Kerr. You know, what does that mean is because I think
Lewis into the box with the header.
Is Joe Holland going to be the type of
go-to
player
guy, kind of,
gets
and
it
making things trying to
circulates
happen?
the ball as well and finds it, or is he going to be a little bit more direct to try to play off Parks and Nico Brett?
Joe Holland started the first match of the season at Nashville. He's been a sub for the most part since. This is 5th match out of 8. Chested down.
Offside. Yeah,
There's
offside.
Braun offside. Indy 11. Justin Braun's a big target, is he not?
He is.
Played 4 years for Chivas USA and MLS. This is an older team for Indy 11 compared to, well, especially like last week compared to Toronto FC2, but even in comparison to other teams that aren't affiliated with MLS squads. Plenty of guys in their late 20s, a few in their early 30s. Foul there against Dover.
Who was Braun with, Matt?
Braun was with Chivas USA back when that was Chivas. Sorry.
Okay.
Back when they were an existing franchise. In MLS.
That's which was
played out of the Los Angeles area.
Right, and they were part of Chivas Guadalajara in Mexico, sort of that was their parent club, and that did not work out really well. Actually, Ben Zemansky was with Chivas too, so he might have been there with Braun.
Might have crossed paths.
That's where he originally went out of Akron. Before he was picked up by his ex-college coach, Caleb Porter, at Portland.
Well, now the Los Angeles area has 2 MLS teams again, the establishment of LAFC.
Yeah, and
it's a heck of a first meeting between the Galaxy and LAFC, in fact. Ibrahimovic.
A guy by the name of Zlatan made his mark there.
I've heard of him, yes.
Yeah,
He's good at this
If you
game.
watch Fallon or Kimmel, he's been on there. Or no, he was...
Pressner!
Well
Todd Pressner, the saving play. McInerney lurking. Well, you talk about MLS. McInerney's played for seemingly half of those teams, and he was right there trying to take advantage. He scored a couple of weeks ago against Cincy on a giveaway. A 3-2 loss for Indy at home against FC Cincinnati. So both these teams have played a high-scoring duel with the boys from Ohio, Southwest Ohio, that is. Taken away here by Steinberger of Indy. Hounds quick to recover.
That's a good
Braun's
ball.
open now. Ball at his left foot. Here's the cross, and Lee elevates. Nodded right back in by Juan Guerra, but no one home for the visitors. Now we're down to under 10 to go before we hear about stoppage time.
You know, you mentioned so many players with MLS experience. It just it's a testament to the quality and the improvement and the progress and the evolution of the USL and MLS too, because there's, so many of these players have had high-level experience. You look at, as we talked with a guy named McInerney, and he goes straight to MLS from the youth ranks. So the game continues to progress, continues to improve, and we're seeing higher quality from players all the time.
Earlier, Parks got his first touch. He wanted to find Holland. That threesome up there at the top of the formation now is Holland, Parks, and Brett, by the way. But now Indy can try to strike here, an errant drive.
Yeah, that was
well offline.
That was a wasted opportunity there, because
Lewis
was screaming at him on the right, and he was wide open. He could have just laid that ball off.
It was a good attack by Indy.
Yeah, they had some players open in the middle.
The best decision in the world.
This is where the Hounds got beaten a few times last week. On the counterattacks in transition, they got spread out. Parks leans down to head that forward. And they gave up 1 goal late against Toronto. According to Bob Lilly, he felt like it could have been 2 or 3. He also felt like his team could have had 3 or 4 up in Rochester last week, which is where that match was played. Much tighter match. Last week was free-flowing. This one, tactical, fighting for every inch.
Yep.
Holland here. Joe Holland, the late sub for Kevin Kerr. So Kerr gets subbed off again.
When players get space on here, they're kind of a little bit surprised, and they seem to get rid of the ball really quick. They're used to having somebody right on the back, making them play backwards. But I saw a couple of times where they've had space.
Through to Parks. He was open for a moment, and it didn't appear to be offside. Parks the ball at his left foot, now his right. Can't make anything happen. He tries to take it away from Guerra. He won't be able to. Romeo Parks had 6 shots in his first 2 matches. Then he got hurt. He's had a hard time finding the rhythm so far. He's been a sub since.
Yeah, that ball over top, and then a little bit of misplay. I think it was Russin or Lamet that sort of turned to let that drop, and then all of a sudden Parks had a brief opening, but again Indy recovered.
Bob Lilly just getting onto Parks' case a little bit and saying, hey, you got to pick it up and see him.
We brought you on for some energy.
Yeah.
You know, that you had 15, 20 minutes to pick us up a little bit. And
Hugh Roberts appears to be ready to check in for the Riverhounds. Holland's going to get around the outside. Can he beat Ouimet? He does, and the cross is cleared out. Well done by Holland, but Brad Russin saved the day.
Yeah, he really made sense.
Well, that's the energy you want from a substitute. You're bringing somebody in late in the game. You want some fresh legs to pick some things up and provide a little bit of a spark, and that's what Holland did with that run.
Steinberger switches play, and it's a good job there to get it to Ring. Brad Ring in his 101st game for Indy 11. He's the Indy's version of Kevin Kerr here in Pittsburgh, except he plays on the back line. Holland leaping. Couldn't get there, and Indy will. Ayoze, the play to the edge of the box. And Vonkiazil wanted a foul call,
Yeah,
maybe a grab jersey. Lilly is protesting, so is Mark Pilisic, his assistant. Hugh Roberts is ready to check in, though, for Nico Brett. So it appears that Lilly has seen enough from Brett. He's expended his energies, and it's Roberts' turn. Hugh Roberts, defender by trade. He's played all over the field. Oh, pardon me. I thought it was, they showed a 9, and I thought Hugh Roberts would be a different type of a substitution there.
Number 6,
but it's Zemansky coming out.
Number 13, Ben Zemansky.
Yeah,
so Zemansky wraps up his night.
Missed call here by the referee. That was a pullback on an Indy player, but they got away and got the throw in.
Ayoze unable to generate space. Ayoze Garcia, the wing back. Just goes by one name. Throw for the Hounds to Parks, who misplays it.
Yeah, sloppy from Parks.
Pratzner cleared it.
Oh, Nico, you got to get a...
And Brett just a step slow. That's one of the rare times you can say that about Nico Brett.
Yeah.
Seems to thrive off the chaos because of that hustle and that tenacity. Bounding ball a couple of times. Holland missed it. This is Thomas Vonkiazil sliding in, but Ring will take it away from the fallen Hounds defender. 86th minute.
You know, they pushed Vonkiazil up into the midfield, it looks like, with Roberts back at center back.
Yep.
Or no, actually Pratzner's in there with Roberts on the right side right now. And Vonkiazil's gone to midfield where Ben Zemansky was.
Roberts a good player in this league. Led Bethlehem
Pratzner's
steal
got to the
last year.
center, Roberts and Adewale. So
offside.
Yeah, so pushing Vonkiazil up a little bit more. So it'd be he and Canardo Forbes with Joe Holland in the midfield trying to hold that down.
Some late additions, some late substitutions for Bob Lilly and his Hounds. That's 3 now on the reconfigure here. Pratzner.
A little surprised maybe that with Ray Lee and Jordan Dover, I mean, those guys have put a lot of work up and down the flanks.
They have to be pretty exhausted by now, you would imagine. Fawn Williams gets rid of it. All the way down, flicked by McInerney, but on 2 hops, it's right there for Kyle Morton. Morton in his 3rd match.
Morton just wants to clear his line, get everybody up, and try to find Parks.
Parks the big target there, but he could not win that ball. Here's Holland, though, helping out. Plays it square over to Dover, right back through a couple of bodies. Canardo Forbes has a chance. That might have been off a hand, I thought, at the edge of the area, but we play on. Holland tries to swing it back in. A second opportunity, and it's cleared by Ring. Boy, am I seeing things, or was that maybe off of a shoulder, maybe an arm?
Yeah.
It was close.
Was it out enough?
At any rate, we play on, and it's Lee. Had it taken away on the attempted pass for Brett. It was cleared out by Russin.
And McInerney wants, he is going to get, no, it's a throw-in. McInerney wanted a foul there, but they're going to get the throw-in.
Forbes is, oh, I'm sorry, that was off of a leg with the hand in the area. My fault.
Just pulled his.
And it turned out to be a fine defensive play by Ayoze because Holland was behind him.
Well, he was doing a little Olay dance there with his hand, you know, and that's what you saw, Matt.
I was just thinking Indy got their only goal on a similar play as we saw last week against Louisville City on a handled ball inside the box. Parks appeared to be wrapped up by Ayoze. No play, and now trouble for the Hounds, but it's offside. McInerney was ahead, and McInerney heard the whistle blow. He threw his head back. That was a game-breaking chance.
I was a little worried there until I saw the flag go up. I'm thinking, my goodness, Morton has played about 20 of those balls exceptionally well throughout the night.
Yep.
And just a tad bit late on that one.
Yeah.
But the reason he was late, he was offside, and there was a collision where Morton's down a little bit.
He's saying, I could read his lips, my shin.
Yeah, you can watch the challenge.
Left shin.
Yeah.
Nothing, no contact.
Yeah, it just how
just
he
went
planted,
down.
I hope it were the knee.
I thought he said my shin, but he did reach for his knee too.
Because the way it almost looked like his cleat caught. Did his knee pop? Because there wasn't contact.
I tell you what, though, I thought Parks down here he's looking for free kicks, and it's not. He's got to be sure about it if he's going to go down and make.
You have to keep fighting. Yeah.
They're checking his knee, but he seems to be okay. I just think it caught a little bit and maybe hyperextended it some.
Well, we have the time. We can tell you to check out the power rankings on USLsoccer.com. Which teams are hitting peak performance? These two teams playing pretty well this year to start. Find out every Monday afternoon. USLsoccer.com. 6 minutes of stoppage time. So this one is not over. We've seen 7, in fact, this year. A couple of matches ago. That might have been Atlanta, might have been Ottawa.
Well,
I think it was Ottawa, actually.
He had a number of substitutions, but how many injuries of guys
it's been a handful.
going down? It's been a handful. And as I said, just a lot of quirky stuff where guys have got caught, like with Morton right there. And because certainly we've seen way more physical contests. I mean, it's been hard, it's been challenging, but both teams have played under control.
It's been really even, for sure.
Adewale wants to find Parks. It's over his head. The Jamaican striker Romeo Parks into the match here. Holland with some quick feet. Poked away by Lewis. Taken right back, but unable to do anything with that. Was Vunky Azil now in the midfield, as Gene mentioned earlier. He's been bumped up. A handful of minutes to go. A win for the Hounds would give them first place in the East. And that would be a first in the USL Pro era for this club, started in 2011 under this current format. And for Indy,
same thing.
A win away from second place. So the points are out there. We're on track, though, to split them.
Which isn't, the Indy gets it in the attack third. You see Jordan Braun trying to sneak up from the left side and push in there underneath McInerney. But as soon as we lose it, I've seen him drop all the way back in front of Ioze. So it's, but now they have the two.
Pratzner heads
try
it.
To steal something.
Forbes squared it over again, who's hanging back a bit, making sure that the Riverhounds can take possession of this. Hugh Roberts strikes it ahead. Brett's right there to try to take it away from Ouimet, and he will. Nico Brett sneaking up and ran into Ouimet. Brett goes down, no call. Throw in for Indy.
They're trying to push that through the defender's legs, and it wasn't working, and trying to get a free kick there, but referee having nothing to do with that one.
Brett seemed to surprise Ouimet, who had his hand under Brett's right arm. And Indy's now in a mode probably where they feel like we can pull a point out of this, we're doing all right. And we'll see how they act here, if they still push it up. Ring with Parks there. Parks got the call on the throw-in.
I don't think he gave the referee time to think about it.
I don't think he did either. That's
and we had an attack
crafty move.
We threw it back.
Lee has some space on his left foot. Now his right. Dancing is Ray Lee. Crossing. Headed off the pass by Fawn Williams. And Williams clutches that to his chest. It's valuable property. Ioze, well, they're going to keep trying this deep ball. Almost worked out with Saad in the area, but Morton ends up with it. Sooni Saad.
And now he is down. But I think this is a bit of a delay.
Morton's going to try to make something happen, nevertheless. Saad is prone, and Indy will simply tap it out into touch, as is custom here.
Yeah.
Saad right there in the penalty area.
Gonna probably get another couple more minutes out of this
Down
one.
on his back. It looks like we will add a little bit more, you'd imagine, with this. We have a protest currently from Juan Guerra. The veteran midfielder wants a word and did get a word with Eric Tattersall.
What? Yeah, no, I mean,
hard to tell exactly what happened there.
All I did is, he ran into him. I mean, it was, and like I said, I just think it's a little bit. Let's kill the game a little bit more, and I need a breath. And sort of when his leg went out to clear it, he went into his ribs, but nothing much happened in there. So, said we have a lot of these little strange little injuries that were not, almost just collisions, but nothing.
Lewis made a run for Indy. Braun pulls it down, puts it back to Ioze, right at the top of the box, and mishandled, and now a handball here against Indy. Saad couldn't get there, and, well, eventually Indy just trying to buy some time to regroup here, and they will off this free kick. Anything left in the bag of the tricks for the Riverhounds tonight? They've already had one scoreless draw here at home. Dover wanted to slide it through, put it behind Romeo Parks on his run. The Hounds tied in-state rival Penn FC in the Keystone Derby 0-0 in the home opener more than a month ago. The Riverhounds have 2 scoreless draws on the season. Adewale gets by.
He ran right into it.
The referee was right
That's
there.
Steinberger.
Yeah.
Steinberger is writhing about, and eventually that will inspire the stoppage in play on the whistle.
Yeah, the fans really getting on this referee's case with some of his calls. I mean,
now the fans don't like this one at all.
Well, he has to stop the play. The player's not.
Yeah.
There's nothing. They can't.
Oh no, yeah, sure. It's a head injury.
Yeah, I don't think they're actually.
Like,
oh, that's pardon me. That's McInerney actually.
No, that's contact above the shoulders, and that's.
But don't you think McInerney runs into it?
No, he's still sticking his arm out to him, and he hits him again. So it's contact above the shoulders, and that's.
It was not called a foul.
And he was right there.
Not called a foul. McInerney reaching. He might have some blood in his mouth, in fact. So yet another delay in this one. That's really hurt the rhythm of this match in the final 20-some minutes. I'm Matt Geica with Paul Child and Gene Klein. Well, we said initially 6 minutes of stoppage time, but I don't think the whistle's about to blow to end this one.
No. I think he still might give us another minute, Matt, at least.
I'd like to see that, see if these teams can decide it.
Oh.
On the drop ball. Indy will just get rid of it. And McInerney is back in, by the way. Parks chests it down. Romeo Parks turning. The big man stumbles, and will it be a foul call? It will be a foul.
That'll be a foul on Mr. Womet. Those two.
It was, in fact, was it not? I was waiting for that confrontation, and don't think they don't know.
I'm sure Romeo.
Yeah, Womet with the shove from behind.
But
that's
it
a
does
good call.
give us a free kick.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity.
This might be our final opportunity here.
So here it is.
Indy going to keep the line at the 18.
They may as well push everybody.
It looks like it. Joe Holland will be the man over the ball. Holland, arm in the air. What will he do? A low one, and
not a good
cleared out.
There. You got to beat the first defender.
Yeah, at least.
Dover going up.
A situation like that.
McInerney here runs into some trouble. Braun helps out. Up in the air it goes. Lee with the header. Now Holland pulls it down. Forbes. Bunky Azil turns upfield. He has some room.
A little bit of space.
Bunky Azil over on far wing. Now right on back. Forbes has a crack, and he missed it high.
And that's the end of the game.
And that's all for this one. We end on that. The missed chance from Canardo Forbes. Players bent over. An exhausting 98 minutes for many of them. And the two teams, Pittsburgh and Indy, split the points in a 0-0 result here at Highmark Stadium. The Riverhounds still have not been scored on at home. They are still unbeaten, but they couldn't get that one goal to pull the result here at home.
I think if we play another 98 minutes, it's still going to be 0-0. After those teams played,
I agree with you there.
Again, I mean, we saw it coming from the beginning. We knew it was going to be a tight match. They had each other's tactics figured out. Not a lot of changing tactically throughout the match, and I think both waiting for that prime opportunity that they could get the goal and then clamp it down.
Well, there you see Indy hasn't allowed a goal on the road yet. They're now 4-2-2. The Hounds now 4-0-4. 6 clean sheets in 8 matches for the Riverhounds.
No, that's great. I mean, and that's good defense is a good offense. I don't know if we want to say that with Bob, but these were two very evenly matched teams. I mean, there was no giver anywhere. If anything happened, it was very rare that somebody got a chance that really looked like they were going to penetrate and score a goal.
Yeah, there are only a few opportunities, and in a match like this, whatever rare chance you have, you have to take advantage of it.
So it felt
nothing
even.
Clear cut.
Yeah, it felt even tonight, and it finishes even, I would suppose, to say appropriately. 2 more matches between these teams upcoming. We'll look forward to that. In the meantime, we'll take a step out and bring it back for stats and highlights from Pittsburgh.
It's so unfair. You just feel stripped of being a woman and not being able to have a child. They had told me that I can't have kids naturally. It was just
like waterworks.
Yeah, what's it like being pregnant?
But it's an amazing thing to know that I don't have all of the things to make a baby, but I still made this baby.
I mean, it really is a miracle. I mean,
seriously.
Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with a fertility expert at Allegheny Health Network.
A lot of clients ask us what makes us different. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Joyce's signature collection. We truly are jewelers. We're passionate about jewelry. We understand the process of making jewelry and what it takes to make the highest quality product at the best value. We travel the world to bring back and create the most unique diamond jewelry collection that you will find anywhere. If you've never shopped Joyce's, I personally invite you to visit our store. I know you're gonna love it.
At Joyce's Jewelry.
I just want to make sure that I just do everything I can to just protect him and love him and just, just be the best mom I can be.
Yeah. And with your first, you want to know the doctor because you want to be comfortable with them.
Yeah. I don't want to feel like I'm at a baby factory.
Be like this.
The region's fastest growing labor and delivery program is at Allegheny Health Network.
That a few times, yeah.
It's new.
It's the third 0-0 result for both teams on the season. Indy 11 and Pittsburgh Riverhounds with their respective managers. There you see Bob Lilly doing his post-game powwow at midfield. Martin Rennie as well for Indy 11. I'm assuming he's okay with this result on the road. Let's go to the highlights. And there were some. There were plenty of shots, 20 in total, 13 taken by the Hounds, 7 from the Indy 11. Indy 11 on the road here. And we go back to the first half, and early, plenty of these diagonal balls in this match for Indy. McInerney couldn't get on the end of that one. And here are the Hounds on the counter. A little bit later, Brett just a touch late to that ball.
Yeah.
Forbes again. It was Forbes. It was Dover on that far side.
Yeah.
As Francois was over on the left side today.
Yeah.
And here's Brett just missing. Well, I forgot about that opportunity too. So he had a couple of looks.
And that was the early one too. They played a diagonal ball across. And got
this was a good opportunity.
That was a good
Sod too, Sunni Sod.
Sunni Sod, yeah. A couple just caught that a little bit on, didn't hit it cleanly.
And Lewis giving up on that one. We mentioned that.
Yeah, this is the one where Francois could have scored, and yet keeper saved it.
And here's the one from early deep in with Francois, and just could not get it down. You know, it reaching for it a little bit, and it got underneath him.
Francois has lacked some finish, but he's created plenty of chances.
That was the
another Sod
direct free kick from Sod. So it was a Sod story tonight for the Riverhounds and Indy 11.
Well done. At least if you like goals, right?
Yeah.
And there's the play I thought initially was a handball in the box. Instead it wasn't. It was a legal play by Ayoze. I want to make that clear here. As I mentioned, 20 total shots. Just one on target. It was that Francois opportunity that Owain Fawn Williams got the back leg too as he slid in. And the possession ends up essentially a coin flip.
Yep.
In this match, 6 offsides for Indy as they pressed upfield at times. They tried for the quick strike. They never quite connected, though. The Hounds are a little more diverse in their attack, it seemed like, tonight.
Yeah, but probably not consistent enough. I think I'm sure that's what Bob's still talking to them about tonight. That there were spurts, and when they were able to connect, we saw some pretty good soccer, and we saw some challenges to the Indy defense, but certainly not enough consistency. Ball moved a little bit too slow, maybe, to try to break down a very well-organized team like Indy 11.
Like we said in the beginning, I didn't see too many combinations on the top of the box. You know, we were kind of still trying to cross these long balls in and hope that you know, somebody was going to get on the end of it, which we had a couple of chances, but they didn't go in the right direction for us. But yeah, a little bit, but two very, very even teams, and these two teams are going to be battling all through.
They're going to be battling. I think these two teams will be in there to the very end. I mean, you know, and we're going to see several teams in this Eastern Division that can be very, very difficult to deal with, including the Riverhounds, but also Indy 11 and certainly the Cincy's and everybody else. So it's going to be quite a competitive, tight season.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be that with these.
Well, there you saw the Hounds have given up 3 shots on target at home total in 5 matches here. So, yeah, it's been almost a complete lockdown. It's still amazing to me how Bob Lilly comes in and molds the team in his image, essentially. It's a whole bunch of new players, plenty of former Rochester Rhinos, but still, I think you've got to tip your cap and give the Hounds kudos for how well they've played in the defending third. They're still working on the attack, though, and, well, Indy 11, they're still trying to find something. Plenty of quality on this Indy team. Just 7 goals, though, on the year. So
and early this part of the season, that's the toughest part, to get that flow going and make sure that everybody's on the same page in the attack. And I'm sure that's going to be an area of emphasis for both coaches.
So there you have it. You see Kevin Kerr with a little one. Autograph session and play on the field right now at Highmark Stadium, where we'll be back in a couple of weeks. The Hounds play twice before the end of the month. So myself, Matt Geiger, with Paul Child and Gene Klein, will be with you again here on ESPN Plus before you know it. Thank you so much for joining us, and good night from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Good night.
And good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.